What's up, guys? You ever just impulsively buy something that you have thought about buying quite a lot, and you just do it because the opportunity presents itself? Well, that's what happened here. All right, box is good. Everything stayed in the bag. Let's see, looks like we've got paper towels. I'm gonna close my case. And yeah, so this is a 2EDC Bantam, I think it's a Bantam by 2EDC. Hilarious that I'm questioning who it's even made by. These are kind of available right now. You can get them straight from Samuel at 2EDC. I think he's like softly taking orders on them. Let's see, before I even spin it, I'm gonna give it a good old lift test because I'm weird like that. Solid, solid. Very smooth. Bearing is very quiet. Oh, this weight's loose. Wonder if I just sent that off on the first spin. Adjustable weights shouldn't make a difference in balance, but I'm gonna make sure. Yep, we're good. Oh, there's better sound now. That weight was just doing some funkiness. And it's even smoother now. It's literally perfect. Perfectly balanced. Okay, so now that all my worries are put to bed, yeah, this is a Bantam. It's got tungsten buttons, tungsten weights, and then the body is made of titanium. So lightweight material for the body and a heavy material for the weights. I literally don't even know how much this thing weighs. It's really not that heavy. Very fast. Oh, I got this weight loose again. I hope this isn't going to be a problem with my spin style. Let's give this a couple more rips. Because I do I'm pulling right on the bottom of that and I'm spinning left. Yep. Ooh, yeah, 84. So with the tungsten buttons off, are we in the 60 range? Whoa, whoa. No wonder it's so fast. Okay. Yeah, this tungsten buttons really heat up some stuff. What diameter are we at to here? 20. So I don't have any 20 millimeter buttons. I've got 22. Do those fit? They do not. So these are some buttons that I messed up on, I guess, a little bit. They're just not perfectly concentric. When you button spin them on one side, I messed up on indicating. And so I've kept them, and they're 22, but I might have to make those a little smaller. And I'll have a set of Ultim buttons for this thing. So yeah, 20 mil. I've got a couple of materials that'll work good for that. Copper buttons are got a nice patina. I didn't even look at the bearing. I'm just sitting here thinking about numbers and all this kind of stuff. Man. Let's see, we've got a hybrid ceramic, black silicone nitride balls, and a crown, retainer, or cage, whatever you want to call it. It's got the lightning holes around the bearing. I think, oddly enough, I like these. What do these weigh? Gotta be like 40. Yeah, 39. Since it was 40 something without the buttons and 80 something with the buttons. It's a really good weight. You know, all that mass is out there on the ends, so it's fast and it slaps when it comes to a stop. All right, let's get this ugly scale out of here. Yeah, I'm quite impressed by this. You know, I've kind of left myself a little bit in the dark on these spinners. I mean, I guess there's not a whole lot of content on them out there anyways. It's usually just you see a picture of them every now and then. But man, that's a pretty solid spinner. It's very comfortable. You know, we got rounded on the, it's rounded on the ends here. It's not balls. Man, I gotta say, these are really similar. This one, of course, feels heavier, but as far as the spinning mass, yeah, let's see, look at this. That thing was, what, 42? The Bantam, without the buttons. Yeah, that must feel exactly the same as far as the spinner itself. It's pretty cool. The weight distribution and everything is very, very similar in these guys. So this is, of course, thinner with the tungsten weights, but this is thicker. And weights are about the, I mean, yeah, man. Interesting. So the Bantam's getting, it's up there kind of with the Fuse. Gotta say, the buttons definitely aren't as good as the Fuse. Not to bring my favorite spinner into everything that I do, but the dishing and the texture here is far superior to just a simple, what is this? This has a radius to it, but not a very deep radius. So let's see, can I modify these? It looks like the bore depth, I'm looking at the hole here. The bore depth is deep enough that I would be afraid to take more material from this face. I might open up that hole. So yeah, looks like these buttons are going to stay as they are. They're safe from my meddling hands. Tungsten button is just like, I like the weight of the spinner like this. It's kind of cool. But the tungsten button eats up so much vibration and feedback and sound. I almost wonder if I just want to put a full ceramic in it and get it over with, because I know I'm going to end up doing that. I mean, this bearing's nice, and I've gotten to where I do like hybrid ceramics now. I was on like a full ceramic train for a couple months there. I was like, just give me all the feedback and all the noise. But I've learned to appreciate the quality of certain feedback and tones. It's different vibrational frequencies and tones, or some are more pleasant than others. It doesn't have to be just max amplitude. So I do like the soft tone of this one and the sound quality of it. It's nice, but I do think I might could get it to be a little better, either with a full ceramic or maybe even like one of the Acer Racing hybrid ceramics. Man, this is a solid spinner. Hang on, let's see. I think I have some leather slips over here in the fidget pouch. Uh-oh, hang on. That's my 20-minute timer to drink some water. Give me a sec. I'm out here in the shop working, but I saw the mail truck and took a break working. So that's some live action for you. Let's see, I'm 8.5 minutes into the video. It's on a 20-minute timer. 12-minute difference, yep. So I just ran up there in the middle of work and here we are. Does it, okay, hang on. I've been doing this, I guess we'll call it a moment of inertia test. Whenever I spin a spinner and then I throw it and see if it stays on its spinning axis or if it starts to rotate. And it appears that this one also, yes, it does rotate. The torque bar and the iFidget are the only two bar spinners in my whole collection. Let's just get them all out while I'm here talking about all this. Physics are neat, right? Look at that metal on metal contact. So everything up here, it's a bar spinner. I think actually the Synergy too. Yep, Synergy does it. So all of these, yeah, that's all the bar spinners. These ones all have a moment of inertia that its highest is not, oh, this one does too. Its highest isn't on, or its highest moment of inertia is actually on the spinning axis. All these other ones, when you throw them up, they start to rotate on their axis with the highest moment of inertia. Oh wait, did this one not do it too? There it goes. It does have a little bit with how you throw it, but even over your gentle. Yeah, see, there it went. Takes just the slightest bit of instability and it starts to flip over. So all of these do that. Maybe not the Captain. I thought it did, because it's such a, yeah, it started to. It's just the weights throw it off. And then the fuse does. All of these do. It's not a bad thing. Things can still spin perfectly smooth, perfectly balanced. Like, literally the fuse is my favorite bar spinner still, even though this is a Bantam video. Bantam unboxing. The fuse is still my favorite. It is more comfortable than this Bantam. With the round is good, but we're still flat here with a sharper radius. So the balls on the end of the fuse are still a winner for me. But the weight distribution makes this feel, I guess it does have slightly higher inertia. I mean, it has to. Its moment of inertia on the spinning axis has to be a little bit higher than the fuse. Even the copper fuse, right? Man, I am all over the place. Y'all are just gonna have to... Oh, wow, I got these really tight. They were coming loose on me, so I was just like, never again. Yeah, 48. So as far as the body, the copper fuse is the heaviest. I mean, and it feels it too. It's a little harder to get it moving, and it slaps just a little harder than the stainless fuse. This one, oh, it's definitely easier to get it moving and comes to a stop easier. So maybe it doesn't have quite as high of a moment of inertia as the copper fuse, but it definitely has a higher one than the stainless steel fuse. Yeah, definitely higher. But man, it's really, really good. I think the copper weights they're cool, but they're not really for me. I don't want this thing to be even lighter. A little water on my finger. Like, lighter doesn't help me in any way here. Oh, why is that crunchy inside this hole? Wonder if y'all could hear that through the microphone. Ooh, definitely feels weird, like almost like sandy or something. This one feels good. Good threads. What do these copper weights weigh? Just curious. $18. 9.1 a piece. Pretty light. So definitely tungsten is the move. So the Bantam by TwoEDC. Yeah, it's a solid spinner. I mean, probably like my number 3 bar spinner overall now. I still like the flux and the fuse more. The fuse to me is still overall a better spinner. And definitely, I mean, it's half the cost too. These are $250 if you can buy them new right now. I paid more than that because this came with the copper weights as well. Still a little indifferent about that, but I am happy that this one is perfectly balanced. Some of the newer ones coming out, I must say, haven't been perfect. I mean, I hate to say it, but they haven't. I've seen the people's videos and people have acknowledged it too. So yeah, I'll justify it to myself right now that I paid a little bit of a premium for a perfectly smooth spinning one. Passes the lift test. This thing's definitely fire. I'm really questioning if I want to change that bearing out, because it's good right now, but it's rather quiet. This has more noise. More noise. More noise. Yeah. I think this could benefit from a bearing swap. Let's dive in. Pack up some of this stuff. Sean, if you're watching, thanks for letting me check out the Synergy. And I really like these buttons actually on here. The stock Synergy buttons. They fit the iFidget quite well. These are just incredible. I'm never gonna shut up about the fuse. And the Flux is incredible because of its design. But I guess as far as like a spinner, purely is just a spinner for performance and ergonomics, the Bantam is a little easier to spin, get power into, and maybe, that's about it. It's just easier to spin and put power into. This is just heavier, and I don't have the wide buttons yet, so I think that could totally change it there. Whenever this is wide enough, the buttons are tall enough to table spin the spinner, not the buttons. Let's screw this button together. Put the box cutter back over here. And dig into bearings. So I've got, these are usually pretty quiet. Got an Acer Racing here, and I've got some really good full ceramics there. I think those are, I was already talking about those. Those are what my gut told me to try right from the start. And I'm also gonna get out one of these full ceramics with the stainless steel ribbon cage, because they are also pretty awesome bearings. Let's see, get out. Probably not gonna need both tools. Looks like a pretty straightforward one. Grab a fresh swab. Plastic scraper in case we have any leftover Loctite and the current bearing bore. And yeah, I think that's everything I need. Try to stay a little more organized here instead of throwing stuff all over the place. So I gotta get back to work after this. Is this procrastination? Yes. Pull this down. So what, this is like the third or fourth time I've done this on video. Maybe the 300th or 400th time. I've actually swapped a bearing. Let's see how it goes. Let's see. Gonna have to use the tool that I made. This is just a little Delrin sleeve for spinners with smaller bodies. Look at this body real quick, a little closer. A lot of makers will put a chamfer bigger on one side. Yep, and this side has a larger chamfer. So usually that means the bearing is pressed in from that side. So I'm gonna press it out that same direction. So it's never really had something pushed all the way through it, if that makes sense. Put in there with pretty decent force. Just felt like a little bit of, did feel like Loctite. I hope it was. Looks like it. I'm gonna use my little plastic scraper. I'm gonna turn around so it's not getting dust and debris on the bench here. Sorry about the chair. I tried taking it apart, and the part that squeaks is a part that has a it's a peened pin, so I can't get it out, and I can't get in there to stop. I'm gonna walk away real quick to get a rag. If you've been here before, you know what I'm doing. I'm just cleaning up the inside of this bearing pocket right now with a little bit of alcohol after scraping it with this guy. Oh, interesting. So plastic scraper's not gonna get it all. There is like a pretty solid film in here. I don't know about that. Let's go in with a tiny blade. Slide this up out of the way. I wonder if this is that Aaron's glue that Unquiet Hands sells. If you can make it work, it works great. But I suck at applying it, and it cures too fast for how I like to work, and I make a mess with it every time I use it. And I don't have acetone around very much. I don't like to use that stuff because I don't like to get it on my hands. And this is way hard to get off compared to good old medium Loctite from Harbor Freight. So how y'all doing today? Oh man. Yeah, this is definitely work procrastination. That's okay. Almost got it all. There was a pretty solid film all the way around. There was just like a couple holes worth, like maybe 2 or 3 width of these speed holes that didn't have a film of glue. All right, clean this up over here. Getting glue dust in your bearings it's a bad day. It's really hard to get it out. Really, any kind of dust, in my opinion. I don't think there's any good kind of dust to get in your spinner bearing. Close this blade. Let's do a full ceramic first. I'm really familiar with these. I like a lot of them. This is a really good batch of them. And does the spinner require a spacer? Yes, it does. It doesn't sit flush in the tool. Just use a larger bearing tool. Press tool on the bottom is a spacer. Sorry if the camera's shaking. My dog is on the couch, and he just rested his head on the back of the tripod leg. Some live action right now. Is that the side with the bigger chamfer? This side has a bigger chamfer, okay. Both sides really have a pretty good sized chamfer. And I'm testing right now to see if this is a press fit hole, one that does require Loctite. Sometimes it can vary by 0.010. So this is a very loose fit, press fit I should say, maybe slip fit, interference fit, whatever you want to call it. I'm not sure I can push it out with my hands, but on probably really hard rips, I bet I could shift the bearing in the hole. All right, give myself a little room here. Pretty solid. It's got a little higher pitch tone than I might want to get out of this particular spinner. But I don't dislike it. It's a step in the right direction. Okay. I love that it's a semi, I don't know. I honestly don't know what to call it. Maybe an interference fit. Okay, yeah. See, I can push it out with moderate force, but nothing excessive. All right, maybe onto one of these, just to try. It's a pretty unique bearing. Not a lot of them out there in the world. I have 2 of them in spinners right now. Let's see, I gotta put the spacer back. Got it in my Tungsten Axis Micro Mini and my original torque bar. It's a little quieter in the torque bar, quite loud in the Axis Micro Mini. I think because the Axis Micro Mini is a tight press fit bearing, like it actually takes considerable force with this tool to press it into the hole. So that changes the tolerances of the bearing and makes it much, much louder. I actually like that. Has a little bit less of a less high pitch feedback. It's still plenty fast. Like that button spins really nice. Really slow speed there. Yeah, I'm gonna use Loctite on that and rock that for a little while. I think I can enjoy that, and they actually usually get a little smoother. Man, that one's in there actually pretty tight. Loctite's gonna be overkill, but well, that's okay. Huh, why is this so tight right now? What's going on? Ah, it was hitting the sleeve, the plastic sleeve on the bottom. But we can see a little indent in it whenever I pull it back up. Yep, it was hitting right there. I don't know if you can see that white line. Yep. And almost anytime I look up at my phone during this video, I'm getting a message. So if it is buzzing, I'm sorry. No. Just gonna do a little Loctite. Oh, I just picked like the worst swab, didn't I? Look at that tip on that thing, it's tiny. Little drop on each side and work it all the way around. It's very thin film. A little shaky today. It's kind of weird. Does that ever happen to y'all? Almost 33. I feel like I'm getting old. Notice all these weird things happening with my body. Never been shaky my whole life. Super steady hands. Very minor shakes today, but I've noticed. A couple times when I've gone to hold spinners this morning too, I was like, is that out of balance? No, that's just my dang finger. Oddly, I usually try to drink coffee. I mean, I usually drink it on an empty stomach, but the past couple days I've tried something new and just having a little something on my stomach with it, and it's almost like it hasn't. It's had the opposite of what it's supposed to do, even though I didn't have a problem in the first place. How's that for a ramble? All right. I like to clean it up with my finger, because my finger's not dusty. It's not gonna get debris in the hole, in the bearing. So I can just clean up any excess off my finger and then wipe it off that way. All right. Do I give it a hard rip before the Loctite sets in? I'm not sure I want to. We heard it there. I'll do a gentle one. A little harder. Yeah, I think I'm gonna keep it with this. Sounds pretty good. Very smooth, very fast. Better tone than with this one, but man, that was a really good sounding bearing. I actually need to put it back in its little baggie and then put it back with its other ones. Because some of these are, when you pull it out of the bag like that, I do this on purpose. I stretch it out of the hole, so the hole ends up being small. So it can kind of make these little bags reusable. It's such a weird thing, but I don't know. I do it on purpose. Oh my gosh. It's one of those things that's happening on camera where I can't do it. There we go. Okay. Stalling so the Loctite can cure. Not really. well, I think I'll wrap it up here. Reorganize my bearing box a little. Let's do that on camera. More time for that to dry. Stack my tool up the same every time. Oh yeah, I gotta put this bearing back somewhere. So it's a really cool bearing, and it sounds really good. Let me give it a little label. Came in the Bantam. If I like know what it came out of, then that, for me at least, tells my memory and reinforces my memory on what the bearing characteristics are. And I can go back to this video and be like, oh yeah, whenever I got the Bantam, this bearing was like this. Because man, bearings really do change a lot and matter a lot. HC3 monolith, that was, I don't remember. Oh well, I'll find it later. Maybe I can see it back in the video. Man, I'm just rambling and going and going. Cleaning up. Bearings, Loctite, not the pin. How did I have all this in here? Some high-level Tetris. I am just trying to kill a little time. I'm not big on the whole editing stuff, guys. Sorry, it's just not gonna happen. Photography used to be my career, and a lot of the work involved the employers and stuff wanting to do video, or, oh man, I forgot some. Wanting me to edit videos that were shot on scene, and I hate it. I despise it. I hate editing video. I don't like the software, it's slow. I don't have a computer good enough to run a software at the highest capabilities, so like it's not for me. I don't like doing it on the phone, all the apps are slow. I just want to do one take and upload it. And if it's like not ideal for the viewer, then this is not the channel. Alright, that was a full power rip. And it looks like it's still nice and centered. Sitting here saying I like the bearing, but then the jutters, I'm not sure I do like the jutters from this particular one. That's alright, I'm gonna have to rock it for now. I'll enjoy it today. How does it fit in this leather slip? This is the one that I got made for the fuse. Since it and the fuse are so similar, yeah, I mean that's pretty solid. This might fit in my torque bar leather slip too. It might, but it might be a little weird in there. These have a tighter radius on the bottom to locate the tighter radius of this on the fuse. Got the weights getting tight. Haven't come off anymore since then. It just tells me that, you know, the weights have come off. I have buttons come loose pretty often when I get spinners in from people. Like, I'm doing something that's more forceful on these things than the average user. So weights. These are really, really simple in design. There's a chamfer, a small radius, I mean no shoulder or anything, like with the button. So I mean there's like 1, 2, 3, 4 critical dimensions basically, and then you have the face itself. I'm definitely gonna try to make some for this. What sizes? What size are they? I don't do things metric. I know my materials in standard. So 0.58. Man, I actually don't have that much in that weight range. I don't think I want to make weights, honestly. Tungsten is what makes this spinner, I mean, good, having the tungsten weights and the titanium body. So some 20mm buttons, though, which is 0.78. Definitely 0.78. Yeah, I got some stuff for that. Look at this. I think this is a 7.6, yeah. But that's not too far off. Like, that might look okay. Really like Makume. Also gotta make some scepter spin caps with this bar. Let me put it back real quick. I don't know if I do like this bearing. I really just need to enjoy it for a little bit. But I want more of this kind of tone. This is an Acer Racing bearing, and I know I've got one more of those in there. I almost wonder if that's what I should have done. Yeah, actually, it's disgusting. Oh my gosh, we're at 36 minutes. Sending it. Bigger chamfer. I'm not sure I paid attention to that last go around. That's okay. Nice and centered, I think. Yeah, that Loctite was already held beautifully. So that was like, honestly, even more force to get out than whatever glue was on there before. And then look, I'm gonna take my plastic scraper like I just tried to do. Maybe show inside the bore too. You see like the white crust that forms? Watch this. Plastic tool, I'm just running it around the inside. Like, just doing a couple circles. Like, back and forth on one side, flip it over, and do the same motion on the same 180 degrees. And, I mean, it's close. It's not quite all of it. I'm gonna go back with the metal blade. Scrape out the last little bit. It's nice on some of these bodies that are titanium or tungsten. If you're using a steel blade and don't apply a lot of pressure, usually the titanium and tungsten are harder, so you can scrape off everything you need to scrape off without fear of damaging the spinner body. So Acer Racing, that is this guy right here. And let's just see if it'll go on. Larger chamfer. That's pretty loose. Might actually require Loctite for a proper test spin, but have to try. It's really quiet, but I do like the quality of the sound. Oh, there it goes. Ah. Sound quality is nice though. I like this better. I'm gonna just, man, these Acer Racing bearings. Whoa, I got really tongue-tied, like actually tongue-tied there. Yeah, push it out. Pretty good. The very first time I tried them, I got two, because I just wanted to try them, and they felt really bad. They were like dirty out of the package and rough. I tried to clean them and clean them and clean them, and they absolutely were unacceptable. And yeah, I just gotta say, Acer Racing didn't help me out on the customer service side. They just said, oh, they're probably dirty or need broken in. And I was like, guys, I tried them. Like, I've got a ton of bearings. I know what I'm doing. These bearings are just not okay. There's something up. And that email never got a response. I've been a customer of Acer Racing for, well, since 2015 when I started making tops. That's where I order my bearing balls from, ceramic or tungsten carbide. And that was my only, negative experience with them. And it is what it is. I ordered more bearings, and I'm happy I did. I just got some bad ones, and maybe I just had a bad customer service rep that day or something that didn't know how to handle the problem or the customer or whatever. Just random ramble for the end of a 40-minute long video of a unboxing of a spinner. Lord. Larger chamfer. It's quite satisfying. That's like a true loose interference fit, maybe? I don't fucking know. I'm using these words like I know what they are. Trying to again. Probably not necessary, but yeah, I was just making sure everything's nice and square. It could be really cool. I would have to take the bearing out again. That would be a pain in the butt. But I could electro-anodize the spinner body of this thing. That sure would be cool. I just don't have a high enough voltage to go to green. My power supply only goes to 31 or 2, which is enough for light blue. Green takes a much higher voltage, if I recall, like closer to 100 or something. I can't do that. Oh, I need to put this bearing somewhere good too. I'm actually gonna put it in the Acer spot because it's not an Acer bearing, so I'll know what that is. One last assembly. I don't think I'm gonna kill another 5 minutes of rambling to wait for this one to dry. I'm gonna make this one very anticlimactic and end it here. If y'all made it here, thanks for watching. 500 subs is pretty wild. They just changed all the monetization rules or whatever, or requirements. It used to be 4,000 watch hours, now it's 3,000. So I've got like 600 to go roughly. That's kind of cool. And yeah, I mean, I'll be able to maybe get some income off of doing this. Not income, but just money. I don't even know how much a kickback it'll be. It's not much at all. I don't ever plan to make this a income source, so to say, but it'd be neat to have some kind of cash flow coming in from the effort that goes into this and buying all the fidgets and all the bearings and taking the time off work. Like, this has almost been an hour basically now of rambling about this really cool spinner, like, whereas I could be over there making stuff. Kinda. I'm having a rough day too with Crohn's, so I've been sitting on the heating pad a lot, so this is also a blessing being able to sit here. What a ramble. I'm done. See ya. Bye. Thanks for watching.